this party, our president, to this APC, to come out and speak something for this thing.
Since the man just come back, nothing to talk to followers.
The Akwa Palm APC caretaker committee chairman has been operating as though he's a domestic staff of Senator John Udoide.
Position, hey, we'll get for Africa.
When your brother is producing something and you patronizing your brother,
there is only one seat and only one man will sit on that seat. Let us be careful what we say and who we say is going to be the governor or be a senator or be a member of the House of Representatives and all of that. Let us also give respect to the office that we all occupy, that God has called us, and be careful that these things that we say, they have a way of having a ripple effect. You must have to understand that in the midst of all of this, God is still God.
Listen to Planet 101.1 FM News at 7 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. with our news in special English at 2:30 p.m., Mondays to Fridays. Planet Radio 101.1 FM, evolving around you.
It's the news at noon. In the news, Nigeria Customs Service warns officers against any form of unruly behavior. INEC summons emergency security meeting on recent attacks with heads of security agencies. YPP's governorship candidate, Senator Bassey Albert Akpan, pledges to revamp Akwa Palm industry in Esit Eket if elected. On the foreign scene, China relaxes some COVID-19 restrictions as case numbers rise to highest level in months. In sport, NPFL sets 10 million naira benchmark on players' insurance policy. Details coming up shortly. Good afternoon and welcome to the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo. I am Rachel David White. First in the news this afternoon is a report that the federal government has said that a report by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change revealed that many coastal mega cities, including Lagos, Port Harcourt, and others, would witness a weather catastrophe by 2050. The report, however, stated that it was taking steps to mitigate this through the provision of information on future actions required by cities that are projected to be affected by the climate change effects. Minister of Environment Mohammed Abdullahi made this known in Abuja during a side event on scaling up climate change adaptation in Nigeria, which was organized by the Federal Ministry of Environment in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster and Management and Social Development at the ongoing COP27 event in Egypt. Abdullahi, however, stressed that it was obvious that the challenges of climate change were enormous, adding that no individual ministry could confront the challenges alone. Away from that, the Nigeria Customs Service, NCS, has warned its officers against any form of unruly behavior. The Public Relations Officer of the Service, Deputy Controller Timi Bomodi, disclosed this in Abuja while reacting to a video of a half-clad individual on social media claiming to be an officer and that he had arrested trucks carrying premium motor spirit across the border. The PRO further said upon preliminary investigation, it was discovered that the person in the video was truly an officer of the service's federal operations. He, however, said all officers were expected to abide by a strict dress code and to not only be in uniform while on duty, but adorn their name tags for easy identification. Bomodi stressed that the service seriously frowned at any action that was inimical to the economic well-being of the nation, maintaining that the battle with smuggling has been unequivocal and unyielding. The PRO therefore assured members of the public of the commitment of its officers and men at securing the borders. On electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has summoned an emergency security meeting with head of security agencies who are members of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security (ICCES), including the National Security Advisor, over recent attacks on its facilities to deliberate on the disturbing trend. According to the National Commissioner and Chairman Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, a meeting was triggered by the attacks on the Commission's local government officers in Ogun and Osun State. It was gathered that some hoodlums numbering about 8 reportedly scaled the perimeter fence of INEC office at Iyana Mortuary in Abeokuta, jumped into the premises and set the INEC building on fire from the back. Speaking on the fidelity of the coming elections, INEC's head of voter education, publicity, gender, and civil society in Oyo State, Rosemary Adeniyi, noted that no one can alter or influence the result of the 2023 polls. Still on electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has released the methodology for claims and objections in the register of voters by citizens. INEC National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, disclosed this in a statement in Abuja. Okoye, however, said that INEC at its weekly meeting deliberated on the approved methodology for the display of the entire National Register of Voters for the claims and objections by citizens as required by law ahead of the general election, while stressing that the register would contain the name, picture, date of birth and voter identification number, VIN, of each of the registered voters. He further maintained that for data protection and security reasons, critical information such as biometric details, residential address, telephone numbers, and email address of voters would not be made public in both physical and soft copies. The chairman therefore noted that detailed clarification on the processes and procedures for the exercise, including relevant forms, could be obtained from INEC officials at the point of display at registration areas, wards, and local government areas, adding that the information have also been uploaded to the Commission's website and social media platforms. Back here, the Young Progressives Party, YPP's governorship candidate, Senator Bassey Albert Akpan Oba, has assured that Akwa Palm industry in Esit Eket, which has been tottering on the brink of extinction, is to enjoy a new lease of life when the party takes over the reins of power in Akwa Palm State from next year. Oba, the governorship candidate of YPP, met this promise yesterday during his ward-to-ward campaign of Wards 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 in Esit Eket. Reports say Akwa Palm industry sits on a landmass for more than 3,000 hectares and has not received the attention it deserves in the past decades. This met the senator pledged to recalibrate it to work optimally to ensure that thousands of unemployed youths are taken off the streets. He also pledged to connect the villages without electricity to the national grid, noting that his blueprint for rural development is structured to address those challenges and ensure that what is available in the urban centers also gets to people at the grassroots. Oba also promised to provide conducive school environment as well as medical facilities within 1 kilometer radius of the state, including Esit Eket. He criticized the current state government for not utilizing the state fund for the purposes they were meant for. He compared the state with River State and wondered why River State has gone far above Akwa Palm, which receives almost the same amount of allocation. Earlier, Apostle Andy, chairman of the YPP in Akwa Palm State, said the next government of Akwa Palm State on the platform of YPP will make life better for the people. He, however, said that it will only be possible with the support and massive vote for YPP from the masses. On his part, Pastor Sonny Ibot, the Director General of Akwa Palm Bassey Campaign Council, who thanked the people for waiting for the campaign trail and assured that their support will not be in vain. He promised better governance from YPP. Earlier at the palace of the paramount ruler of Esit Eket, His Royal Majesty Edidem Ubong Peter Assam, Oba received royal blessings after he assured the monarch of his commitment and sincerity to change things for better as governor. Highlights of the campaign included official commissioning of the Ward 10 office of the YPP in Esit Eket by State Chairman Apostle Yenime Andy. Still in politics, the paramount ruler of Ibano, Owong Efyong Bassey Achanga, has charged the governorship candidate of the Young Progressives Party, YPP, Senator Bassey Albert Akpan, to run an all-inclusive government when he gets to office next year. Akpan, who was in the palace of the monarch to pay homage before proceeding towards 2, 3, 5, 9, and 10, assured the people of his readiness to change their lives for the better. He acknowledged Akpan's contribution to the eventual actualization of the Petroleum Industry Act (PIA) and complained about maltreatment by ExxonMobil and other oil companies. The monarch also complained about the devastation of the area by erosion because of lack of embankment on the beach as well as gas flaring, which has led to massive reduction of life expectancy. Responding, Senator Akpan recalled his effort at the Senate to bring development to oil-producing communities and the entire state, promising to do more when he takes over as governor next year with more resources. While acknowledging that Ibano also needs other credible infrastructures like roads, the senator promised that his government will ensure shorelines protection for Ibano Beach. He also promised to use Akwa Palm money to ensure even development of the entire state. You're listening to the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo. Let's take a breather and then bring you more stories from our foreign sports and entertainment scenes. Do stay with us.
Healthy living begins with the choices one makes. Choosing to live healthy is the first step to healthy living. Join us Sundays 1:30 to 2 p.m. for Health Way. Awareness for healthy choices.
Thanks for staying with us. On the foreign scene, China has slightly relaxed some of its COVID restrictions, even as case numbers rise to their highest levels in months. According to report, quarantine for close contact will be cut from 7 days in a state facility to 5 days and 3 days at home, noting that many people will avoid having to quarantine following a slight easing which comes weeks after Xi Jinping was reinstated as party leader for a historic third term. Recall that Xi Jinping held his first COVID meeting with his newly elected standing committee yesterday. Meanwhile, China's National Health Commission has insisted that the changes did not amount to relaxing prevention and control, let alone opening up, but were instead designed to adapt to a changing COVID situation. And sports management of the Nigeria Professional Football League (NPFL) has set a benchmark of 10 million naira for insurance claims from policies covering players of the 20 Premier League clubs beginning from the 2022 and 2023 league season. In a latest signed by the head of operations, Davidson Owumi, the clubs in the top flight were informed that the minimum claim from an insurance policy in the case of death or permanent disability of an employee required by the NPFL from clubs is 10 million naira only. NPFL further insisted that such a policy must be acquired from a reputable insurance company and domiciled with the NPFL as required by the club licensing regulations. While the statement added that the move was necessitated by constant complaint from players that they do not have copies of the contract, the league managers also warned erring clubs to serve severe sanctions in the event of non-compliance. On the entertainment scene, Nigerian superstar Wizkid has released his More Love Lays Ego album. His fifth studio album, More Love Lays Ego, follows Wizkid's Grammy Award-winning fourth album, Made in Lagos. Reports say the singer, however, shared the tracklist of the album in a tweet. Recall that Wizkid had pushed his album release date from November 12th to November 11th following the death of Davido's son, Ifeanyi. It's been the news on Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo, but before we go, a recap of our major stories. The Nigeria Customs Service has warned its officers against any form of unruly behavior. The Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has summoned an emergency security meeting which head of security agencies who are members of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, including the National Security Advisor, over recent attacks on its facilities to deliberate on a disturbing trend. The Young Progressives Party, YPP's governorship candidate, Senator Bassey Albert Akpan, has assured that the Akwa Palm industry in Esit Eket, which has been tottering on the brink of extinction, is to enjoy a new lease of life when the party takes over the reins of power in Akwa Palm state from next year. On the foreign scene, we told you that China has slightly relaxed some of its COVID restrictions, even as case number rise to their highest levels in months. And in sport, we reported that management of the Nigeria Professional Football League, NPFL, has set a benchmark of 10 million naira for insurance claims from policies covering players of the 20 Premier League clubs beginning from the 2022 and 2023 league season. For comments and coverage of your newsworthy events, call our newsroom on 0812-770-2940. Visit our website on planet101fm.ng and follow us on Twitter at planet_101fm. Also like our Facebook page at Planet101FM. The news was edited by Jen Ua. As we end the news, remember that nature has given us all the pieces required to achieve exceptional wellness and health, but has left it to us to put these pieces together. I am Rachel David White.